On this episode of Oliver North's Real American Heroes, Janis Shinwari, a brave Afghan interpreter who made it out alive. Welcome to this very special edition of Real American Heroes. I'm Oliver North. Our guest today is an American hero, Janis Shinwari. He served as an interpreter translator alongside U.S. Army and Marine units in Afghanistan for more than 8 years. During that time, he personally saved 5 soldiers' lives. And in 2013, he was finally granted a special immigrant visa to come to the U.S. And when he arrived, he was presented with a $35,000 check from a GoFundMe campaign to support his new life in the United States. He refused to take the money personally. Instead, he asked that it go to create No One Left Behind, to help all the Terps, as we called them over there, who are still waiting for their special immigrant visas. Janis has met with members of Congress to advocate expediting special immigrant visas for those who are at risk and waiting years to come here. He continues to volunteer each weekend to bring donated household goods to newly arrived families. Janis, welcome to Real American Heroes, and you are an American hero. When did you finally get your American citizenship?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you guys for having me here. I received my citizenship last year in 2020.
It was 7 years after you actually arrived here.
Yeah, because this, even in here, the process is very slow. When you apply it takes from 1 up to 2-3 years to get your citizenship.
Janis, why did you decide to work with the Americans? It's a high-risk endeavor.
I was trying to fight somehow against the Al-Qaeda and Taliban and ISIS and all insurgents. And the only way I could use was using my language. This is a good time for me to go use my knowledge to fight against these. And on the other side, I could support U.S. mission in Afghanistan, which I did.
So tell us how you learned English. Can you share that story?
English was one of my favorite subjects when I was in school. Even from the childhood, I was trying to learn English. But when we immigrated to Pakistan in 1996, when the Taliban attacked Afghanistan, we were immigrated to Pakistan. And in Pakistan, me and my brother, we went and bought a VCR, a used VCR from a yard sale. And the VCR had a video tape inside it. And the seller said that you guys can take this video free because it's stacked inside. And when I come home and we tried this movie was Commando movie. I was watching this movie over and over for more than 100 times or maybe a couple hundred times. This movie helped me a lot to learn English.
How did you decide to become an interpreter and save the lives of 5 American soldiers?
When I came back to Afghanistan, I was an English teacher. I saw an American convoy came to our village. These Americans started talking to the villagers, and I translated for them in that time for 5 minutes. And one of them say, hey guy, you speak good English. Why do you not become an interpreter? It's 2004, late 2004. And next morning, I went to Camp Phoenix with my IDs and other stuff, and I was enlisted there.
You end up going out in the field in combat. It's not just sitting back behind a desk somewhere, translating documents. You're out there in the field with soldiers, sailors, airmen, guardsmen, Marines who are getting shot at.
Yeah, this is what I thought at the first. When those Americans talked to me, they said they need an interpreter. I was like, okay, I will have an easiest job in the world, just sitting in the office and interpret from maybe an American to an Afghan. But I didn't know that I'm going to become a soldier, a real soldier. I would be in the front line. My dad told me, like, look, my son, you should be like a soldier. You should stay on the deserts, on the mountain, day and night. You should spend like you don't have only one enemy. You will deal with the spiders, with scorpions, with snakes and everything when you're out. And when I thought, I was like, I'm going to take a very risky job. I had to do this. I had to accept it because I was tired of Al-Qaeda and Taliban. I was trying to find a way to go and fight against them. And this was the time that I could use my language to go and fight them. When I passed the interview, the interviewer, he was an American, he told me, I'm going to Gardace. And when I went there, I saw that my job was totally a different job. That was not only interpreting and translating, but I was the eyes and ears of the American. I was a bridge between the two countries. We didn't know like who is good people and who is bad people. We have to deal with all of them. Plus ambushing, IEDs, suicide bombers and everything. We had to deal with everything.
So when you're out there in the field, you're subjected to the same kinds of conditions, very difficult climate, very difficult walking along, wearing a flak jacket and helmet.
Before we had a different kind of uniform, the old US uniform, which was similar to Afghan army uniform. And then later on, the American, they changed it. They gave us the same uniform that they wore because we shouldn't be different from them. Because later on, we found out that the Taliban are trying to kill an interpreter first in the war. If an interpreter dies, there's no connection between the American forces and Afghan forces. And the good thing that our unit trusted us and they issued us guns. And we could see after each other, we could protect each other, we could fight for each other. And we were fighting shoulder by shoulder against the Taliban.
Tell me about saving the life of an Army captain.
2008, an American unit just came to our base. And I just saw this unit for 10 seconds. I didn't know that I'm gonna save the life of one of these soldiers 10 days after. I'm at the base. We received a radio call from their unit that their unit has been attacked by Taliban. Our major, he called me and said, Janis, pick up your stuff. You are going on a mission because we just lost a truck by IED and the unit is under attack. The firefight was going on. It was like really intensive firefight. 15 American fighting versus 50 Taliban. I jumped out of my truck and I had my AK-47 and I started shooting at the enemy's direction. Somebody called me that we have a friendly personnel somewhere. We didn't know that this soldier was very close to the Taliban. I saw this soldier, that he was in the ditch, he was out of ammo, he was out of grenade launchers, but he was alive. And I said, if I go to him, he might shoot me because I had different uniform. And even I didn't know that person. I didn't remember his face. I didn't remember his name. The only thing I saw, somebody with the American uniform. I'm in the prone position. And when I see two Taliban are coming behind him and they're crawling, like when a tiger is going to hunt a deer, they're moving really slowly. That's how these two Taliban are coming behind him. I shot at them. In the same time, I jumped from my location and I shoulder checked this guy and I pushed him down to not shoot me. And this American guy was like freaking and he asked me like, who the hell are you? And when he saw the body of the Taliban behind him, and I told him like, okay, we should pull back because you're not safe and you are in the kill zone. And I brought this guy back where the other unit was.
Turns out the captain becomes a supporter of yours when you arrive in the United States.
When I was there, I didn't want to come to the United States. I was happy to do whatever I was doing. I was happy to continue to my job. I was happy to support my people, support my country. But in 2009, I found out the name was added to the Taliban kill list. They have my all information, my picture and everything. I came back to the base and I talked to my American commander who was commanding our team. He said, Janis, you have three options. The first option, you don't have to go home. You stay at the base. And the second option, to transfer yourself to Kabul city where your family lives. And the third option, if you don't want one of these, then you have to quit your job. And I'm accepting the second option, if you can transfer me to Kabul city. And then I transferred to Kabul in Camp Black Horse. They assigned me as an interpreter manager. I was managing like 250 interpreters there. Plus, I was working for the intelligence officer too. I worked for a few months. I thought I'm out of danger now. that I received a phone call from unknown number, and it's a Taliban. And the Taliban tells me, hey, Janis, we know you, we know where you work, but since you left Ghazni, we thought you quit your job, but you didn't. And we will kill you or a member of your family. I talked to my American supervisor and I explained everything. And he said, the only option you have is now apply for special immigrant visa. In 2013, I received the good news from the embassy. My visa has been issued. 3 years of waiting. And I know a lot of people that they lost their lives while they're waiting, because this process is taken from 1 up to 5, 6 years. There are a lot of other people in Afghanistan who is still waiting for their visa. They don't have somebody to raise their voice here. They don't have somebody like you here to fight for them. They don't have somebody, once they are here, to support them, take their hand and bring them to a new life. That was the birth of No One Left Behind.
Very quickly, I want to just make sure that Americans watching this know exactly how to help. Tell them how to help No One Left Behind.
Yeah, please, if you want to help a person like me who served this country, go to the nooneleft.org. This is our organization, nooneleft.org. Please support us, and we will bring all those, our brothers and sisters who supported our mission in Afghanistan and Iraq. We still have thousands and thousands of those heroes in Iraq and Afghanistan who is still hoping to come for their new life. We cannot abandon their life and leave them behind. We have to fight as hard as we can to bring everybody here before 9/11.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate very much you being with us today. Friends, if you like what you've just seen, do what you can to help this wonderful cause, because there are over 17,000 brave men and women who served as interpreters and translators for us. And remember, the next time, Semper Fidelis is more than a slogan for U.S. Marines. Always faithful is a way of life. This broadcast has been brought to you in part by MyPillow and the MyPillow line of products. Get yours today at mypillow.com or 800-620-4439 and use promo code NORTH to receive deep discounts on your order.